Hey everyone, welcome to the second episode of Laravel series, Routing. Imagine your website is a city. Roads are how people get from one place to another, right? In Laravel, routes are like those roads. They guide visitors or users to different parts of your application or specific pages. So first of all, we are going to jump into registering a simple route, and here we have got Visual Studio Code as our code editor. And if you need to learn more about VS Code, you can watch our VS based series and find the link in the description below. By the way, I've already created a project with the name routing. First of all, we are going to jump into registering a simple route that shows a welcome message. So first of all, let's open up with the command. You can open any of the file with the command control or command P web.php. And the location of this file is routes web.php. This file is where you define all the routes for your application. Now, this line tells Laravel that you are going to use the route facade to define routes, followed by use keyword. Then you're provided with the get method followed by parentheses. It needs two parameters. The first, the path, which is in this case / meaning home page, and then you need to define here an anonymous function that returns welcome you. And let me click on this file and make sure that you have installed all the extensions that we discussed in our first episode. To browse through all of these files, you just need to control or command click on the file, and that will bring up the file that you have clicked. So this is welcome.blade.php, the view, and we'll discuss views in detail in its dedicated episode. Now let me get back to web.php. And this view is a helper function. It takes the name of a view template, usually a Blade template, as its first argument. Now, how you can register your own routes? Let me comment this code block out with the controller command /. By the way, if you need to learn all these hotkeys, you can watch our VS-based series and find the link in the description below. So you need to add in here, say, routes. Hit enter, colon, and let's invoke its method get. And after that, you will need to define here the path. And in this case, it's gonna be / followed by an anonymous function, followed by a couple of parentheses and the curly braces. And I'm gonna go to the next row, and do not forget to add semicolon. And let's add in here, say, return. Within quotes, I'm gonna add in here hello world, followed by semicolon. Hit save. So what's that's gonna do? It's simply gonna return this hello world text once you serve your application. Now let's serve the application and bring up our terminal and execute a command, say php artisan serve. Hit enter, and that's gonna serve our application. I'm gonna open up this link in our browser by clicking controller command click, and let me bring up our browser. Let me maximize it, and let's also zoom in a bit. Now secondly, let's talk about route parameters. Think of route parameters as placeholders in a URL. They allow you to create dynamic routes that can handle different values. For instance, in an e-commerce app, you might have a product page with a product ID in the URL. Now let's register a route to display product details based on the product ID. And for that, I'm gonna go and let's make a copy of this code block with the command Shift-Alt if you want to copy it down with the down arrow, or if you want to copy it up with the up arrow. So let's comment this code block out, go to the next row, and here I'm gonna give a path, say / product / and within curly braces I'm gonna go and add in here ID, and in the function I'm gonna add, say, $ID, and just give me a minute and I'll explain it to you in a little bit. Let's go to the next row. I'm gonna cut this line out, and let's return, say, product with ID colon, and let's add in here $ID followed by semicolon. Now this whole expression defines a route that matches URLs like product ID, and ID can be say 1 2 3 5 15 etc. And then this variable will hold the value of the ID in the URL that will pass from here. So let me browse to this URL, or let's resize our editor and the browser just to give you a better view. Let me stretch it out, and I'm gonna close this terminal for now, and let's resize our browser as well and keep both of them side by side. Alright, that looks much better now. So now if you, let's copy this URL from here, and after that if you browse to this URL, say product followed by ID can be say 12, hit enter and you get not found. Sorry, I forgot to save the page. Hit enter again and you get product with ID 12, and if you make it say 20, hit enter and you get the ID of 20. After that, let's move on to that sometimes you might want to have parameters that are optional. You can achieve this by adding a, let me get back to the editor, and you can achieve this by adding a question mark after the parameter name. Let me comment this code block out and also make a copy. And what I mean by that, you can also add, say, I'm gonna add in here category followed by question mark, and after that let me wrap the editor to give you a full view. And after that I'm gonna add in here, say it's gonna be copy. We are gonna receive the value in this variable, and then let's go to the next row. I'm gonna cut this line out, and let's add in here our if else statements, and the condition can be say if category, or let's copy the variable from here, paste that in here, and if that's true I'm gonna return followed by codes and say products in category colon followed by the value of the variable. Let's copy this value from here and paste that in here, and do not forget to add the semicolon. So if that's true, you're gonna return products in category. Otherwise you can return say all products followed by semicolon. Now this expression indicates that the category parameter is optional, so if it's there it's gonna return true, otherwise false. Let's make this categories value to be null for now. It's safe. So for some reason if you do not provide any category, you will get all the products. Otherwise, let me show you, say accessory, that should be correct. Hit enter, products in category accessory. Otherwise, if you do not provide it, let me remove it, enter, you get all products. Next we are gonna discuss about route constraints. Route constraints in Laravel allow you to enforce specific rules on route parameters. This ensures data integrity and provides a structured way to handle incoming requests. Let me give an example for that. Let's get back to our editor, and let's also name our code block. Say I'm gonna call this optional parameter, and after that I'm gonna copy say this code block. Let's get back to all the way up, and I'm gonna paste, and let's uncomment this code block, and I'm gonna name it say route constraints. And after that I'm gonna go and return product with ID, and after that let's come in here and add our arrow, and I'm gonna invoke here a method which is where followed by parenthesis, and then it needs two parameters. First I'm gonna give it an ID followed by say say square brackets, and the value can be 0 to, sorry, what's that? I think I have mistakenly pressed insert 0 to 0 0 to 9. Alright, so I think there is a mistake. I'm gonna cut this whole expression from here and let's paste that in here. That was confusing it with this parenthesis. Now what does this whole expression mean? This adds a constraint to the ID parameter. The where method takes two arguments. The first argument is the parameter name ID, which is in this case, and the second parameter is a regular expression to match the parameter value, in this case 0 to 9, and I forgot to add in here say plus sign, and this expression matches one or more digits. So if string is provided, Laravel will return a 404 not found error because the route constraint 0 to 9 plus does not match non-numeric characters. The request will not reach the closure function and Laravel will treat it as if the route does not exist. So if I come in here and let me add in here /, and if I add in here 20, we get 20, and if I add in here say foo, hit enter, we get foo product. Let me save the file. I forgot, hit enter, and we still get foo. I think I have confusion here. Product or category. Let's come in here and comment this code block out, hit save, and let's get back in here, hit enter, and we get 404. It was actually confusing with this route, so that was an issue. And now if I pass in here any numeric value, that's gonna return as true. Otherwise, if I pass in here say any text, that's gonna return as not found. Now we are gonna move on to say if you wanna ensure the username parameter contains only alphanumeric characters. Say let me copy this whole code block and let's comment this out. I'm gonna name it say alphanumeric constraint. Alright, so after that I'm gonna make some changes here. That's gonna be say users hyphen within curly braces. I'm gonna add in here user name followed by anonymous function, and let's copy this text from here and paste that in here as a variable, and then I'm gonna return username, and let's copy that variable and paste that in here. So I'm gonna add in here another expression, say where username can be from A to Z lowercase and A to Z uppercase as well 0 to 9. Now this whole regular expression ensures the username parameter contains only alphanumeric characters. So let's get back in here. Now if I pass in here say username followed by semicolon and anything except lower or uppercase characters or any numeric number, I'm gonna pass in here say hash enter, we get not found. And if I pass in here foo 12 120, we still get an error because I forgot to save the file. Let's get back in here, hit enter, and we still get, sorry, that should be users, hit enter, and we get foo 120. And if I pass in here any special character, say hash enter, we get not found error. Next thing you would like to move on to say if you want to ensure the parameter contains only alphabetic character. So for that, let's make a copy of this code block and let's comment these lines out. Let's make some changes here. Say I'm gonna make it product, and that can be say title. Let's copy the title from here, and here I'm gonna pass in string title, and let's make some changes here as well. Say product title can be, let's copy that from here and let's paste that in here. So and then I'm gonna add in here a condition. Let's cut that from here, and I'm gonna invoke here a method, say whereAlpha, and that needs parameters, say title. Hit save. Now this whereAlpha method ensures the parameter contains only alphabetic characters. So if I pass in here, say product and any number 1 2 3, hit enter, we get an error. Otherwise, if I pass in here, say smart hyphen watch, hit enter, we still get an error. whereAlpha title product title. Okay. Make sure that we should not have any other route. String title save. We shouldn't get that error. The parameter contains only alphabetic characters. Alright, so I added here hyphen. Let's cut that from here. Hit enter and we get smartwatch. And if I mistakenly add here hyphen or any special character, you would get not found error. Now you'd like to get into, say, if you want to ensure the parameter is a numeric value. So for that, I'm gonna make a copy of this code block and let's comment that out. Let's come in here, and I forgot to change the name. Say whereAlpha, that should be alphabetic characters. And now we are gonna work on numeric characters. So let's cut that from here. Numeric constraint is fine, and instead of, let's make some changes here as well. I'm gonna replace it with, say, number, and let's call in here whereNumber. So this whereNumber method ensures the parameter is a numeric value. Hit save, and now if I come in here and make this, say, smartwatch, we get not found error. Otherwise, if I pass here any number, say 12, we get the product title. That should be product number or product ID. You name it. After that, you like to do something called whereAlphanumeric. Say if you want to ensure the parameter contains only alphanumeric characters. I think we have already done it. Alphanumeric constraint. Alright, so we did that with the help of regular expression, but there is a method as well to do the same thing. So let's come in here and make a copy of this code block. I'm gonna comment these lines out, and let's come in here and make some changes here. Say right after product, instead of number, I'm gonna select all the occurrences, say number, and let's make this title, and that title should start with uppercase T, and that should also be title, but instead of whereNumber, I'm gonna call in here whereAlphanumeric, because previously we did the same thing with the help of regular expression, but Laravel also provides you with this method to do the same thing. So now you can pass in here alpha as well as numeric values, say smart 12, you get that, but if you pass in here any special character, you'll get an error, not found. Now what you want to do is to restrict the parameter to a list of allowed values. Let's get back in here and let me make a copy and come in this block out, and let's make some changes here. Say wherein constraint. I'm gonna name it as wherein constraint, and I forgot to name this code block as well. Let's paste that in here, and that was whereNumber. Yes, that will do. Alright, so let's get back in here and make some changes. Say where I'm gonna make it category, and let's select all the occurrences of the title. Okay, and I'm gonna paste it with the category. So after that, let's call in here a method, or let's select this whole expression and cut that, and I'm going to call in here wherein method, and it will need two parameters. The first would be category that we are going to match it with, and the second can be the list of the values that this category will be matched with. So let's come in here and I'm gonna add in here say movie. Next category can be song. Third can be painting. Hit save. And let me tell you what does it mean. This wherein method actually restricts the parameter to a list of allowed values, which are in our case movie, song, and painting. So if you pass anything other than these values will get not found error. So if I pass in here, let's get back in here and I'm gonna add in here say category followed by /, and if I pass in here say smartphone, hit enter, we get an error. Or if I pass in here say movie, hit enter, it returns true. Moving forward, let's cover named routes. Imagine you have a long complicated URL. Instead of remembering the whole thing, wouldn't it be easier to give it a nickname? That's what named routes are for. They make it simpler to reference routes in your application. We'll discuss that more in our views episode, but just for an idea, let's have an example. I am gonna copy the simple routes. We don't need any. Let's make this one simple. Let's select this whole block of code, make a copy. I'm gonna comment this out, and you don't need this expression anymore. Let's make some changes here. I'm gonna name it as named -route. After that, let's make it product, and you will need to pass in here an ID. That should also be IDs. That looks much better now. And after returning the product ID, you can actually name this whole route, because instead of adding, it can be say product of your -company. Many times you need to refer these routes within your application, say to generate any link to that route, etc. So you can name this route instead of typing this whole name or this whole text. You can only name it as with the method say name, and let's pass in here the name of the route. So it can be say product. So this product gives the route the name. So now in your application, wherever you are going to reference this route, you just need to pass in here this name simply with the method route. Let's open up our welcome.blade.php, and I'm gonna select everything from here, and I'm gonna type in here hello world, hit save, get back to web.php, and let's come all the way right in here, and let's uncomment this code block because that's gonna point to the view welcome.blade.php. Hit save. Now if you browse to the home or the /, that returns hello world. And now let's try to reference this whole guy from here. Many times you need to add a link to your page to redirect your user to any specific routes. In our case, it can be product of your company. So that's gonna return if I add in here say hyphen. I'm gonna copy this whole route from here. Let's paste that in here / and any ID say 20. And now let's try to refer this route and try to make a link in our welcome.blade.php. So let's come in here, and I'm gonna add in here, by the way, we'll discuss Blade templating in its dedicated episode in detail. So for the sake of an idea, I'm gonna add in here anchor tag followed by href, and here I'm gonna add double curly braces, and after that I'm gonna call in here route method followed by parenthesis and the name of the route that we named here. Let's copy this name from here, and within quotes I'm gonna paste that in here followed by square brackets, and the ID can be say 5. And let's grab the editor, and I'm gonna name it, say, let's add some text here, say view. By the way, this is HTML coding, and since this is not the focus of this series, that's why we'll not be discussing everything about HTML tags. If you need to learn more about HTML, you can watch our HTML based series and find the link in the description below. So let's save the page, get back to browser, and I'm gonna add a new tab, and let's add in here, let's copy and paste that in here, and let's delete that and try to browse to the home, and we get a link, and if you click on this link, that takes you to product of your company. So that's how you can shorten your link and name your routes. Now the next thing you're gonna look at route groups. Think of route groups as folders of your routes that help you organize your routes and apply common attributes such as middleware, prefixes, namespaces to multiple routes at once. For example, if you have admin keyword in various routes, let's get back in here and say if you have routes, let's select everything from here and make a copy, and let's comment these lines out, and let me wrap the arrow and say if you have various routes, so you will need to register each route with the prefix, say, let's make some changes here. So the route can be admin followed by / and say dashboard. That can be one of the routes, and let's make a copy of it, and if you want, you don't need any variable here. Let's delete and return, say, admin name, and let's delete this expression from here. So let's make things simple, and after that let's make a copy, because say you want to register a couple of routes, so the next route can be, say, settings, and the third route can be, say, profile, but all of these routes is prefixed with the word, come on, admin. So that's gonna return admin name, that's gonna return admin settings, and that's gonna return admin profile. Hit save and make sure that all the routes are working. So if you go to admin / dashboard, hit enter, that's gonna show admin dashboard. Let's browse that back, admin dashboard, and if you wanna go to, say, settings, that's gonna return admin settings, or you can also go to profile, enter. And so that's a difficult task to register various routes with the same prefix. So now there is a little workaround. What you can do is simply, first let me name it, say, standard procedure. Let's comment this out, and then I'm gonna make a copy of this whole code block. Let's comment, and now try to see that what you can do to make things or life easier for you. For that, I'm gonna add in here facade route : and let's call in here a method prefix, and that can be, say, the prefix you have in here, admin. Let's cut that from each of your routes. Let's select all of the occurrences. Let's do it this way. Let's cut that from here, paste that in here. Now there's gonna be the prefix of each of your routes, and after that you can add a name to each of your route as well. So let's add name to all of these routes. That can be, say, name followed by parenthesis, and the name of this route can be dashboard. Let's copy this expression from here and let's paste in here. That can be settings, because you would also like to reference these routes to any page of your application. Now this can be profile. Hit save. So far so good. And after that, prefix, I'm gonna add in here the prefix of the name followed by arrow, and I'm going to call in here name method, and this way you can add prefix to each of the names. Otherwise you would need to add admin to each of these names. But what you can do now is, let's add in here admin followed by arrow. And now to bootstrap things out, you can invoke here a method with the name group, and that's gonna group all of your routes followed by semicolon, and within these parentheses let's add in here anonymous function, say function followed by parentheses and the curly braces. Go to the next row, and now you can cut all of these routes from here and paste that in here. Now you don't need any prefix to these routes. Let's cut that from here and here as well. It's safe, and now let's make sure that all of our routes are working. Now if I get back to our browser and hit enter, we get admin profile. If I go to settings, we get admin settings, and if I go to profile, we get admin profiles. And notice that we did not add admin prefix to any of these individual routes, but what we did instead, we made a group of all of these routes with the prefix admin. Now following that, let's break down fallback routes. Imagine building a house. You have carefully designed each room and its purpose, but what if someone tries to enter a room that doesn't exist? You'd probably redirect them to the main hall or a designated not found room. So that's essentially what fallback routes are in Laravel. They handle requests that don't match any defined routes. So for example, if admin profile is not found, let's create a fallback route. Let's copy this code block from here, and that was group routes, or say route group, and after that say fallback route. So let's name it and comment that out, and I'm gonna paste that code from code here, and let's cut or finish this up. I'm gonna cut this expression from here, and now let's call in here, say return simply page not found, and instead of this thing I'm gonna cut that from here, and instead of get method you will need to call in here fallback method. Hit save, or let's say custom, just to make sure that things are working. Fallback method, save, and for now I'm gonna comment any of the routes, say dashboard or settings. Alright, let's save it, and now we don't have any route with the settings. Let's come in here and try to browse to admin settings, hit enter, and we get custom fallback method or custom fallback message. It's safe, and let's rebrowse it, custom fallback message. Next up, let's see how you can customize the fallback response in various ways. Say right now what we did here, let's copy this code block and I'm gonna paste that in here, and let's comment this out, and let's customize. I'm gonna name it, say customize fallback route, and let's cut this line out, and simply we're gonna return, say view followed by parentheses within quotes errors dot 404. By the way, we haven't discussed views for now, but for the sake of an idea, let's talk about what views are, but we'll discuss views in detail in its dedicated episode. So I'm gonna go to the folder views, and let's make a new folder here, errors, and inside an error I'm gonna make a new file, say 404.blade.php. That should be the same that we referred here in our web.php, because that's gonna return this view in the folders errors 404. So let's add some HTML here. Say I'm gonna add a paragraph tag here, and let's add in here the page you are looking for does not exist. Let me wrap that error. Does not exist followed by period. It's safe. Now if you browse to the setting route, you get this error message. The page you are looking for does not exist. Or you can also redirect to the home page. Let me get back to web.php. I'm gonna comment this line out, or let's uncomment this, and you can, instead of redirecting your user to photo page, you can redirect your user to the home page. It's safe. And now if you browse back, that takes you products not defined. I think I have, let's go to welcome.blade.php and let's comment this line out. Now if we get back to say settings, let's again choose the not defined route product not defined, but we did not give a reference to this route in the welcome.blade.php. Then why welcome.blade.php. Alright, so I think we'll need to clear the cache. Let's bring up our terminal, add a new terminal, and I'm gonna call in here clear cache php artisan cache, and let's clear it. So application cache cleared successfully. Now if you browse back, we still get product not defined, route product not defined, route product not defined. But where did we route product? Why are we getting this error? That's gonna show us display. Let's cut that from here. Now we shouldn't get that error. Okay, and I'm gonna add in here hello world. So now if we go to say admin settings, that should take us to the home page. Or you can also return a JSON response. Let me show you what I mean. Let's go all the way up, and instead of returning or redirecting your user to the home page, you can return say response followed by arrow, and you can call in here JSON method, and within parentheses you can pass in here square brackets and the message keyword followed by the message that you want to display. That can be say page or custom fallback message. And after that, let's add a comma followed by 404. It's safe because previously you were only having not found error. Now you'll get this message, custom fallback message, if you do not find any route. Say admin settings, and you get a message, custom fallback message, in the form of JSON. Now after that, let's take a moment to explore a few Artisan commands related to routes. Say if you want to display a list of registered routes, you can go to the terminal, and let me maximize our editor, and let's bring our terminal say all the way up, and let me see if I can increase the size of our terminal. Or let's open the settings and let's find in here font text editor. That should be for terminal. Or let's bring up the terminal back and let's see if we have any option in here or in here. Or let's find in here terminal font. For terminal we have got font family, integrated font size. Let's make this 20. Yes, that looks much better. Or let's keep it 20. Alright, and I am gonna stretch it all the way up. And now let me show you few Artisan commands related to routes. Say if you want to display a list of all registered routes, you can go for PHP Artisan route followed by colon and list. Hit enter and you get all the routes. The output includes information about the URI. Method can be say get, post, etc. And you also get info about the action, say controller method or closure or any route parameters. After listing all the routes, say now shifting gears, let's focus on how you can exclude routes defined within vendor packages. Because right now you are getting all the routes. Or why not? Why not? Let me stretch it down and close the settings. Get back to, we do get routes for admin dashboard profile, and now let's uncomment the route for settings. Hit save, and now so after that let's maximize the panel, and now we get, if I list all the routes again, let's clear the screen for now with the command Control or Alt L, and let's list the routes again, and we get routes for everything. So say if you want to focus on how you can exclude routes defined within vendor packages, you can execute a command, say PHP Artisan route list followed by except vendor. So this is useful when you want to focus on your application's routes without being overwhelmed by the routes provided by the third-party packages. Hit enter, and now you only get routes that you have actually defined. We defined these routes, say related to admin dashboard, profile and settings, and the home route. The next point to discuss is how you can display only the routes defined within vendor packages, allowing you to inspect the routes provided by the third-party packages. So for that, let me clear the screen for now. And to do that, you can make some change here. Say you will add only followed by vendor. Now you'll be displayed with only vendor related routes. Hit enter and you get it. Let me clear the screen up. Finally, you would like to know that how you can filter routes based on a specific URI prefix. Say if you want to see only routes related to admin, by the way, you can re-execute the last command with the up or down arrow keys. So let's make some changes here. Say if you want to know how you can filter routes based on a specific URI prefix, say admin, so you will need to add in here path followed by equals and then the prefix, say admin. Now if you hit enter, you are only displayed with the routes having prefix admin. By using these commands, you can effectively manage and understand the routing configuration of your Laravel application. Routing in Laravel is extremely important because it acts as the backbone that connects user requests to the appropriate logic in your application. In simple terms, routing decides what should happen when a user visits a particular URL, whether that means showing a product list, processing a form, or updating a record in the database. With features like resource routes, named routes, and route groups, Laravel makes it easy for you to organize your application, keep your code clean, and reduce duplication. And that ends the episode here. Moreover, if you have any question, you just feel free to comment below, and do not forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hope you enjoyed the episode. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.